There's a moment so quiet, you almost miss it. No warning, no sound, just a shift. You reply in seconds. They reply when they feel like it. You make time. They make excuses. You give your energy. They give you leftovers. And still, you don't pull back. You lean in. Harder. You text again. You explain more. You try to fix what you didn't break because you think, if I just care a little more, they'll finally see my value. But they don't. They don't see you. They adjust to you. And that's when it hits. Not loud, not dramatic, but heavy enough to break something inside you. The more you care, the less they respect you. You weren't always like this. You didn't wake up one day and decide to chase people who ignore you. You didn't choose to feel anxious, waiting on a reply, overthinking every silence. No, you just cared. And not in a weak way, in a real way. You believed in loyalty, in effort, in being the person who actually shows up. So when someone entered your life and felt important, you gave them everything you had. Your time, even when you were tired. Your attention, even when your mind was full. Your energy, even when no one was refilling yours. You replied fast, not because you were desperate, but because you respected them. You checked in, not because you were insecure, but because you had a heart. You forgave, not because you were weak, but because you didn't want to lose something that felt real. But slowly, without any warning, things started shifting. Their replies got colder. Their effort got inconsistent. The presence became optional, and you felt it. That subtle distance. That change in energy you couldn't explain, but couldn't ignore either. So what did you do? You tried harder. You gave more. You became more available, more understanding, more patient, hoping that maybe they were just going through something, that maybe if you stayed solid, they'd come back the way they used to be. But they didn't. Instead, they got comfortable. Comfortable with your effort. Comfortable with your patience. Comfortable knowing no matter how little they gave, you'd still be there. And that's when it really begins. The imbalance. Not loud, not obvious, but dangerous, because now you're giving 100 and they're giving just enough to keep you from walking away. Here's the truth, the one people feel, but rarely admit out loud. People don't respect what they can easily control. Sit with that for a second, because this is where everything changes. They don't disrespect you overnight. It's not sudden. It's built slowly through patterns you didn't even realize you were creating. Every time you stayed when you should have stepped back, every time you replied instantly while they took their time, every time you tolerated less than you deserved, you sent a message, not with words, but with behavior. You showed them, I'm not going anywhere. And once that idea settles in their mind, everything shifts. Your love stops feeling special because it feels guaranteed. Your time stops feeling valuable because it's always available. Your presence stops feeling rare because you never create the chance to miss you. And humans, they don't value what feels permanent. They value what feels like it can disappear, because loss creates awareness, scarcity creates importance, and certainty kills both. So it was never really about you being too much. It was about you being too consistent without boundaries, too giving without standards, too available without conditions. Not weak, just unprotected. And in a world that judges value based on perception, limitless care doesn't look like strength. It looks like something that can be used without consequence. That's the harsh part, because your intentions were pure. But perception doesn't care about intentions. It responds to patterns, and the pattern you created was simple. They can have you whenever they want, and when someone feels that level of control, respect doesn't grow, it fades. This isn't just emotion. It's deeper than that. It's psychological, wired into how people think, how they feel, how they attach. Human beings are strange like that. We don't always chase what's good for us. We chase what feels uncertain, what we might lose, what we don't fully have yet, because uncertainty creates tension. And tension creates obsession. That's why the mind plays this game. What's scarce feels valuable. What's hard to get feels important. What can walk away feels powerful. It's called a perceived value, not actual value. Perceived and perception controls everything. Think about it. The more available you are, the less urgent you feel. The more you give, the less effort they need to make. The more you stay, the less they fear losing you. So their brain slowly adjusts. Not consciously, but automatically. They stop chasing. They stop trying. They stop respecting the effort because they no longer have to earn it. And that's where it flips. They start chasing the one who pulls back and overlooking the one who gives everything. Not because they're evil, but because their brain is wired to respond to challenge, to tension, to the possibility of loss. And when you overcare, you remove all of that. No tension, no mystery, no risk, just comfort. And comfort doesn't create desire. It kills it. You become predictable. And predictable things don't trigger excitement. They don't trigger effort. They don't trigger respect. They become background noise. Something that's always there, but never truly valued. And that's the part nobody tells you. Overgiving doesn't deepen connection. It quietly lowers your perceived worth. So what do? Do you stop caring completely? No. You stop overcaring. You stop pouring into people who don't pour back. You stop explaining yourself to people who already understand, but choose to ignore. You stop chasing. You stop proving. You stop begging for attention that should be given freely. And instead, you master 3 things. 1. Detachment. Not coldness, not arrogance, just emotional control. You care, but not at the cost of your self-respect. You give, but only where it's reciprocated. You love, but you don't lose yourself doing it. Because the moment you detach, you take your power back. 2. Silence. Stop over-explaining. Stop reacting instantly. Stop trying to fix everything. Silence is powerful because it creates mystery. It creates distance, and distance creates respect. When you're always talking, people stop listening. But when you go quiet, they start wondering. 3. Control. Control your time. Control your attention. Control your energy. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves your effort. And once you understand that, your entire life shifts because now you're not reacting, you're choosing. At the end of the day, it was never about them. It was about what you allowed. You taught them how to treat you by what you tolerated. But here's the good part. You can change that right now, not by becoming cold, but by becoming selective. Because the truth is, the moment you stop chasing, they notice. The moment you pull back, they feel it. The moment you value yourself, they start questioning their place, and suddenly, the same person who ignored you starts trying. But by then, you've already changed. You've already grown. You've already realized respect doesn't come from how much you give. It comes from what you're willing to walk away from. So next time, before you overgive, before you overcare, before you lose yourself trying to keep someone, pause and ask yourself one question. If I disappear, would they chase or replace? And that answer will tell you everything you need to know.